Okay. Do you guys have any questions on any of that? Was that pretty clear to you? How you can create a product of your own and not have to do the writing yourself? Who in here thinks they could do that? Arden was asking, do you use Fiverr? I use Fiverr only for images. I don't use Fiverr for articles at all. I've tried Fiverr for articles and it's just not worth the effort. Yeah, most of the time, Kim, when you're making the listing, you'd want to give the article titles, and you may want to give, the first paragraph or two of one of the articles just to show people what kind of style it's written in, just to give them some idea. And you probably want to do that as an image and not post it as text, so that way they can't copy it. It's easy to do a screenshot of an article and just take the first paragraph or two and use that screenshot as an example of how the articles are written. How many articles make up an ebook? Um, it just depends. Most ebooks are anywhere from 2,500 words up to 15, 18,000 words. I've even seen some be more than that. 15, 18,000 is a good size ebook. Generally, 250 words is what fits on a page. So if you ordered articles that were, say, 700 words, you're looking at right at 3 pages of text for an ebook for each one. So if you had 10 of those, you're looking at about a 30-page ebook from 10 articles that were 700 words. But generally, an ebook, depending on what the ebook is about to start with, they're anywhere usually from 5 to 100 pages, but the average is about 30 pages or so. Arden says, so you use a content spinner? If I was going to sell article packs, yeah, I'd use a content spinner for the articles so I could give those as a bonus for buying the article packs. That's what I did with those article packs that I sold originally. I included the spun versions with them so they could put them in their uh, software to spin them into unique articles. Now I use Article Marketing Robot to post articles out on article directories, and I'll use a spinner to create spun versions of those articles. An Article Marketing Robot has its own spin syntax in it, so it will create spun versions of the articles to post a unique one to each one of the article directories. Roy says, are you including the spin tags as extra content to create extra value, and would you put the spin tags in a folder of their own? Yeah, Roy, that's what I did. I put the original articles in one folder, and then I put the spun versions of the articles into another folder, so they had the choice of which way they wanted to use them. And yeah, I included those in with the original purchase, the spun versions as well, just so it would be extra value added to it, because a lot of people don't know how to create spun versions of the articles. What about ghostwriting? Is that something that you would have used or recommend? Actually, Arlen, that's what I was just telling you about, was ghostwriting. It's exactly what I called it, outsourcing. It's just another term for it, but ghostwriting is what that is. A lot of times the word ghostwriting is associated with somebody that you've hired to on an ongoing basis, but that's not always true. Uh, Outsourcing, article writing, and ghostwriting are basically the same thing. Harlan says, do you know if it's every 3 words that get changed, then you can call it your own content? I guess you're talking about what's considered uniqueness. Uh, Generally, as far as the search engines are concerned, uniqueness is at least 50%. I try to go for 75% most of the time with mine, but generally 50% is what they consider unique. Kay says, do you edit all of your articles, including your spun articles, before putting them in a package to sell? I don't edit the spun versions of them, but if I'm going to spin the articles to create something with the spun versions, yeah, I'll go through them to make sure that the syntax, the sentences are right and the grammar's right, because I want the articles to be, to be human readable. I hardly ever post articles that are just for, search engine uh, indexing anymore. That doesn't work as well as it used to, so I hardly ever do that. But generally, when I do run articles that have spin tax in them, and I spin a version of them, I'll go through and make sure that the sentences are good and complete, and that the grammar is somewhat as good as I'd like to write them anyway. Conrad says, would you spin unique articles? You could if you wanted to. You sure could, especially if you were going to use them in multiple places. And in fact, I recommend that if you have articles that you've bought just for your own use and you wanted to post them out on the internet in different places to get, either backlinks or just credibility from articles being posted somewhere, you could spin those. And then, like I said, again, once you spun them, make sure that they do read good for human readability, because that's what you're generally doing when you're spinning your own content that you're going to use yourself. Gary says, are there any good content spinners around that you'd recommend? The best one that I recommend is the Best Spinner. That's what it's called, it's the Best Spinner. But it is a yearly subscription to have the Best Spinner. But I'm going to give you guys a link to some software that I have for spinning articles, and it works really good. Spinner Chief is another good one. They have a free version of theirs as well. Of course, they have a paid version too that, again, is a yearly subscription, but they have a free version that works really well too. Roy says, couldn't you just change some PLR to make a product and have it serve as the same purpose of what you just explained, just like what you explained? Yeah, you could, Roy. You could take just PLR articles that you've downloaded from somewhere or purchased somewhere else and spin those. But if you want something that's truly unique, because the thing with buying PLR article packs from some PLR website, you don't know how many other people have it. Occasionally, you'll see over on the Warrior Forum, like Tiffany Dow, or Tiffany Lambert, she calls herself now. She'll have just limited copies available of article sets, but most of the time when you go to one of these PLR master resale rights places that sell article packs, you don't know how many copies they've sold of them. So it wouldn't matter how many times you spun it, somebody has that version somewhere. And a lot of times with PLR article packs you buy like it, you don't know what kind of quality you're getting till you get them either, because most of the time you hardly ever get to see, a copy of one of the articles. Now sometimes you'll get to see a copy of one of them and you can tell whether, they were written by somebody that knows the English language or not. But a lot of times you get them and they don't make a lot of sense because they weren't written by somebody that, is fluent with the English language. Arlen's asking basically the same questions. Now, I don't recommend buying PLR to do this same. And in fact, if you were going to do what the method I just told you about list them over as a WSO, you can't do that to start with. You're not allowed to take PLR that you've purchased and resell it over on the Warrior Forum. So you couldn't do that method to start with. And you could, like I was telling Roy, you could use those articles if you wanted to for your own purposes, but I doubt that you could take them and spin them and then resell them, because there's going to be just so many of them out there already, and most places that you would buy them from. And of course, with purchasing from, say, Tiffany Lambert, she specifically has rights. It says that you can't resell them, so you couldn't do that to start with any of the good PLR sources anyway. So that's why it's better to go get your own done. Just that way you've got full rights to it. You can do whatever you want with it, and it's unique. Because if you either go to iWriter and use, like I said, the premium or the elite writers, you're more than likely going to get unique content. If you go to constant content, you're guaranteed to get unique articles, but they're going to cost you more there. Can you recommend any article submitters, or is that something that isn't used anymore? Arlen, like I said, I use Article Marketing Robot, and yeah, it's still article marketing. In fact, that's one of the questions we got in the email that we'll go over here in just a minute. Article marketing is not as effective as it once upon a time was. It is still good for building credibility, but it's not as good anymore for indexing, getting indexed and backlinks back to your website from article directories. Now, there are still a few article directories, that the search engines, pay attention to. eZine articles is one of them. Article Base is another. Go articles used to be, but it's not anymore. And then there's a couple others I don't remember right offhand, but there's like 4 or 5 that that Google and the other search engines will still index, but they're not as effective as they used to be. They are still good for credibility, to give people links, to prove that you know something about the subject, especially if you're trying to break into a niche or you're trying to build your reputation in a niche. Article marketing still works great for that. But the program I use is Article Marketing Robot when I'm wanting to circulate a bunch of articles out. Kay says sometimes Tiffany will say you can do anything you want to with her articles, just as long as you don't use her name. Yeah, I've seen her say that on some of the rights to her articles, saying that you can do anything you want with them, but you still, even if she says that, you still can't relist them on the Warrior Forum for sale. You still can't do that because of the Warrior Forum rules. Roy says, what if you use PLR to use as backbone material, but change it so it's your own words and personality? Yeah, that's a great way to use PLR, Roy, and that's a recommended way of using it, is to make it unique and then use it as a backbone for, like, uh, having content on your blog or your website. Or if you've got a Hub Pages account, you could use PLR over there. But like I said, you want to make sure that the article reads good, and then the grammar is good and it makes sense. Okay, says, what about DOE? Are they still okay? I think you're talking about directory of eZines. Is that right, Kay? Okay. Directory of eZines is still okay to use as long as you're uh, going for the newer eZines that's listed. They still have a lot of the old eZines listed there that are no longer online. I've clicked a lot of the links, and the sign up list or no longer exist, or the eZine is basically dead. You can sign up for it and you never get a newsletter from it. So in my opinion, I wouldn't recommend purchasing access to the directory of eZines, because there's very few eZines that get listed there anymore. Back in its day, it was the best place to go to find new eZines. And in fact, I've got another place that I'll have to find the link to it, but I'll post the link to it where you can search for new eZines. I forget where exactly it's at now. I've got it bookmarked, but I'll find that link and I'll post that under the replay for this for you guys, so you can go look at new eZines. Kathy says whenever, let's see, Kathy says when we create rights, is there any kind of legal process or registration to go through? Not really, Kathy, and in fact, that's one of the problems we have with internet marketing and products that are sold. There's no straight set format people use for creating their rights to their products, and some of them, the rights files just don't make any sense at all. I've run across some of them where they'll say one thing in one line, then in another line down below it, just totally contradict herself. One, just to give you an example, I've seen one just recently says that you couldn't sell the articles or the product, but in the next line down it said you could give it away. And I mean, what sense does that make? You can't sell it, but you can give it away. But anyway, there's no one set format that people use for creating their rights files, so some of them don't make sense. And there is software out there that you can get that will make your rights files all exactly the same format, but not everybody uses that software, so you're going to run across a lot of rights files that just don't make sense at all. Arnold says, would you still get backlinks if you still used article marketing right? Yeah, you get backlinks, Arlen. That it's just they don't count as much as they used to before. It used to be that the article, most all the article directories, were indexed, and the backlinks counted. But then a lot of the article directories started putting a lot of spam links on their uh, pages, and Google de-indexed them there for a while. eZine articles had to go through and clean up a lot of their pages so that they could get re-indexed again. So that's what really hurt them was, they were just had way too many ads all over them. So, the search engine started de-indexing them because of that. Now the good ones, like I said, have cleaned up their act, and they don't have as many ads on them now. They're not just a page full of links, to offers of some sort and ads for CPAs and that kind of thing. But they still work as far as having a backlink. Just a lot of the search engines don't count some of the article directories as good backlinks anymore. But like I said, there are still a few. There's like 4 or 5 that Google will still index, and they will count them as rel backlinks that do count. But they're the article directories that once they went. I think it was the Panda update. I think it was the Panda update when the article directories got de-indexed. There was like 4 or 5 of the major article directories that went through and cleaned up their act so that they could get re-indexed again. Okay, do we have any more questions on articles or the creating of a product with the method I just showed you? If not, we'll go on to the questions that I got in the email, and then I'll take your guys' questions. Okay. Let's go ahead and go over the questions that I got and email them for this week's call. Actually, this was a light week for calls, and in fact, the very first question is about article marketing. And of course, we've been talking about that quite a bit. The first question that I have is article marketing still worth it? I've heard that it's dead. Of course, we just talked about that. Article marketing is not as effective as it once was. There's only 4 or 5 article directories that do get indexed by the search engines regular basis now, and the backlinks still count. The do follow links, there's no do follow links on any of the article directories now, so that's one of the things they had to clean up. So the links aren't worth as much as they were before, but they do still count somewhat if you get them from the major article directories that they've cleaned up their act to get re-indexed. But the biggest thing that article marketing does for you is it builds credibility. If you're wanting to break into a new niche, or if you're wanting to establish yourself in a niche, having articles posted out on The article directories helps a lot in that by being able to give somebody a link saying, hey, I've got several articles posted over here, go read some of my material, especially, if you're talking to new prospects that are wanting to find out more about you. So our article marketing works in that respect, and as far as building credibility, as far as the backlinks go, it's not as effective as it once was. The links don't count for as much, and some of the other search engines, like I said, I use Article Marketing Robot, and I guess probably 75% of those backlinks don't count for anything. So it's not as effective as it once was, but it is still somewhat effective as far as driving traffic, especially from the major article directories. The next question I got is, the email you sent this past weekend was to a giveaway site. Do those still work for list building? List building through giveaway sites has changed quite a bit. It's not as effective as it once was. And in fact, to be honest with you guys, out of this last event, I only did this for Kevin Fahey because he was a friend of mine and he wanted me to be a contributor in it. I only did that as a favor to him and Reed Florin. He's the co-host of it. I only did it as a favor to be a contributor in that, and it's not done really that well. I think I've gotten 15, maybe 20 subscribers out of it, whereas in the past when I did giveaway events, I would get anywhere from 50 to 150 subscribers through giveaway events like that. So they're not as effective as they used to be, but they do still help build, your list somewhat. They don't cost anything to participate in them. That's the good thing about it. You're not out any money for doing it, unless you do upgrade, which generally if you upgrade, you're allowed to put in special offers to sell to people that are joining the giveaway event, which I did do that, and I recouped my money from doing that. So I did show a little bit of profit from doing that. But as far as list building goes, no, they're not as effective as they used to be. And unless it's a major event or it's a friend of yours that that's running an event, I wouldn't upgrade in any of them unless, they met that criteria. If it was a major event or somebody that you knew real well that, you knew was going to promote the event quite a bit. And then the last question I got says, what is the fastest way to get to $100 on What is the fastest way to get to $100 a day online? And of course, that's the question I answered with the training we did tonight. That's the fastest way to get to $100 a day online, is to be selling your own products. Now, you can do it with affiliate marketing. You can do it with CPA marketing. You could do it with blogging. Any of those methods would work to get to $100 a day online, but the fastest way is to have your own products for sale. And the reason for that is, one, it's a unique product that only you have, that only you can sell it. And second is you could get affiliates to go out and sell that product for you, which is where you really make the money, is by having affiliates and JV partners out promoting your product for you. But as far as ways to make $100 a day online, there's several different ways. Like I said, any of the ones I just mentioned, if you put enough effort into it and stick with it, you'll eventually get to $100 a day online. Most people give up before they realize that they're right at the goal of making that. You'd be surprised at how many people will work on something for a month or two and just give up right at the very end when it could be making them some money. I hear that every day, where I worked this method for 2 months and then I gave up, and then next thing I know, the guy next to me or his friend is doing it now and making all kinds of money, and he done gave up. So I hear that constantly from people, that they worked something and gave up too soon on it. But like I said, the fastest way to make money online is to sell your own products. There's just no way around it. That is the fastest way, unless you've got a lot of money to put into advertising. If you've got a lot of money to put into advertising, you could do it for any one of those methods I just mentioned. Is if you're willing to spend money on paid advertising, you find the right sources for paid advertising, you're going to do well with anything. That's all the questions I had. I just had those three. So let's answer your guys' questions now. Do y'all have questions on anything else? See, Kay says, I noticed Aaron is selling some of his older sites. He mentioned going into new areas. Do you know what they are? I've talked to Aaron 2 months ago, and Aaron is going to get into membership sites more. He's going to be creating more membership sites, which means he's going to be creating products that are only available through his membership sites. He's not going to be creating as many products as he had out before, where he sold uh, the products directly, or the rights, the resale rights to the products. He's going to be creating more membership sites. Waikey wants to know, how much are you doing with Facebook marketing? I'm doing the paid pay-per-click. Is about the only thing I'm doing with Facebook right now. Uh, I have a few fan pages that I will market, try to get likes to them, and those are in niches that I'm involved in, trying to build up those niches. But the only Facebook marketing I'm doing is pay-per-click ads that are generally for list building. Conor says, this may be a little off subject, but I'm having problems separating info to give customer without giving them rights to the product. Okay, let me read that again. Having problems separating info to give a customer without giving them rights to the product. Not exactly sure what you're asking here, Conrad. Could you retype that again? Because I'm not understanding what you're asking here. Arlen saying solo ads, is that as easy as they make it sound? Solo ads are great, Arlen. I use solo ads a lot. I have a budget set aside every month for solo ads. That is the best way that I have found to do list building, is with solo ads. Now, when I talk about solo ads, I'm talking about quality solo ads, not the ones that you get from those text ad exchange sites or these traffic exchanges, places like that. I'm talking about from real list owners that are selling, solo ads to their mailing list. But yeah, they definitely work great, and they're worth the money. Especially, well, I won't say every one of them are. You have to get a reputable solo ad seller. There are some crooks out there, so you have to be careful about that. But generally, if you do a little bit of research, you'll find out, who's selling good clicks to their list. And Arlen, actually, I don't know if I sent the link out to you guys. If you joined that giveaway event, one of the gifts I had in there was the $1 million formula, and it's all about solo ads. It's all about how you can take solo ads and turn them into a profit. So if you haven't gotten that yet, and let me know, send me an email, and I'll send you a direct link to it. Like, he wants to know, are you trying out commercial mailing like with John Shugart? Commercial mailing, are you talking about direct mail pieces, like postcards and that type of thing? Not sure what kind of commercial mailing you're asking about, Waikey. Oh, online buying leads. No, I've not been doing much of that. I have went to some of the lead brokers, Nextmark and places like that, and tried uh, buying leads that way, but I've not had a lot of success with it. Even though they're supposed to be good quality leads, but I've not had much success with doing that. But no, I'm not doing anything with John Shugart as far as that goes. I thought you were talking about direct mailing. He had some sort of a direct mailing product out that I wasn't aware of. For the most part, I've not had much luck with buying leads like that. I've tried, like I said, Nextmark before, and a lot of you may not know this, but you can go to some of these lead brokers and they'll give you a free sample of their leads so that you can try them out. You generally have to call them on the phone to get these free samples, but they'll give you anywhere from 500 to 2,000 of their leads in any particular list, just so you can try out their leads. And I've done that, And like I said, I've had minimal success with it, and I've bought some of their leads and just, again, had minimal success with it. So it's not something I do on a regular basis at all. Terry wants to know, what about safe swaps for solo ads and list swaps too? Safe swaps is a great place to go to arrange ad swaps and to buy solo ads, because the members will rate the other solo ad sellers and ad swap partners. Now, there's been some rumors that some of that can be faked, not faked, but shield, I guess is what you would call it, where they'll go in there and they'll vote good for each other just to make themselves look good. But generally, I think his name's Dr. Dimitri, the guy that runs that. Anyway, he's pretty quick to catch schemes like that going on, and he'll disable those accounts. But that is a great place to go to find people to buy solo ads from and do ad swaps with. Roy says, what is the name of Kevin's JV giveaway event? The one he's got going now, him and Reed have going now, is called Download IM Products, is the name of it. It's the email that I sent out Friday afternoon, I believe is when I sent it out. And I don't know of any other major ones coming out in the next week or two, or even the next month or two, actually, to be honest with you. But I'm sure there'll be a couple of them come out here in the next future. And if you guys would like to participate as contributors, I can send you a link to them to be a contributor. But again, like I said, they're not as effective as they once were for list building. They're still great as far as getting list. If you list the products that your giveaways that you're allowed to list for free, um, unless it's a major event, and there's only like 2 or 3 of those happen a year that are major events that are promoted by all of the big guys. Unless it's a major event, I wouldn't upgrade to any of them until you see that it is something that's going to be promoted a lot. Okay, well, we're coming right at an hour now. Do you guys have any questions on the training we had earlier, or anything else? Anything you want to talk about at all? Roy says, I don't remember the name, but there's a website that lists several JV giveaway events every week. Yeah, actually, Keith Perkis, another one of my friends that's heavy into giveaway events, he has a website where he lists them. And in fact, he has a piece of software that you can purchase from him that will let you know if one's coming up, and if you can actually set up his software to automatically submit your gifts through his software. So it's a pretty neat little piece of software. I don't use it much, but I bought a copy of it a few years back when he first released it, but I hardly ever use it because I don't do many giveaway events anymore. But if you're into doing giveaway events, I'd recommend his software for doing that too, because it does make it a lot easier. Once you set your products up in it, it's just a matter of setting up your accounts with them and just running his software to do the posting for you. Terry says, can you give reference to your product talking about so ads, etc. again? It's a product called the $1 Million Formula, and it's actually like I said, it's in the giveaway event now. It's one of the free products that I have. I'll post a link to it below the replay for this video for you guys, that can't find it or didn't join the giveaway event. The giveaway event's still going on. If you can find the email from Friday, I'm not going to email about it again. I told Kevin and Reed that I'd do one mailing for it, and that's what I did. But if you go back to Friday's email, you'll see the link to the giveaway event, and my gifts is, I think, on the 3rd page, 2nd or 3rd page, something like that. Okay, you know, there's one from Roy that has giveaway events listed on it. Let me open that and I'll post that to you guys on the replay. Yeah, he's got several of them there, so you know, I'll post that link onto the replay for you guys. Like I said, Keith has a piece of software that will notify you of them, and it'll actually, you know, submit your listings for you if you want to participate in them a lot. I don't use it anymore because I don't participate in that many of them anymore. Okay, well, we're a little over an hour now, and I don't want to keep you guys too long. I'll go ahead and I'll get this replay rendered so you can go back over the initial training. I'll have that split off so you can go back over it. Like I said, that's an easy way for you guys to make money. I mean, it's basically you can take every dollar you put into it, you can turn it into 3, and it's guaranteed to work because I've done it myself several times, and people are on the Warrior Farm are doing it now every single day, so I know it works. It's just, you know, you got to put forth the effort to, you know, to have it done for you. And like I said, all it basically amounts to is you're just collaborating the work. It's not hard to do at all if you're not creating the product. But I wanted to thank you guys for coming tonight. And like I said, I'll have the replay for this. Hopefully by tomorrow night sometime I'll have this rendered for you guys to be able to watch the replay. I'll post the links down below this that we talked about, and I'll post the links to the article spinner software that I have so you guys can have that. And if you have any other questions, you can send me emails during the week. Below the replay to this video, there'll be a form where you can submit questions for next week. Hopefully next week, if nothing happens, we'll be able to have another call. But again, I want to thank you guys for coming tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. And if there's anything I can do for you, like I said, just email me or use the contact form. It'll be under the replay. Have a great night, everybody.